Welcome to What's the Score in association with Fansbet. I'm dying here. I've got my second cold in as many weeks, not helped by the madness of last night's game and the weather. We're still sort of recovering from that, the mad cup exit to Leicester.
It just feels a bit surreal, the whole game, like the whole experience was mad. Like the fact that we came back from 2 goals down, after Leighton Baines was running the show, you know, like he scores that great goal, and then we had the penalty shootouts and all that sort of thing. It's just I woke up today, it's something like usually when you have those midweek games, I think it often takes, like when I wake up the next day, I think it's in my head straight away. Like the derby last week was in my head straight away. I woke up like, oh no, you know, it's here. But that was sort of like a while to like remember, like, oh god, that happened, all happened last night, and it was really, really heartbreaking, wasn't it?
That's definitely the word I'd use for it.
There were obviously negative aspects in the game, and everything could have done better in, but it's hard to come away from that and sort of give any of the lads a major stick, really, isn't it? Because how they even managed to get to penalties was a miracle, I think, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the 3 games of Ferguson's been in charge, I think it's shown that there is something there with those players. I mean, a few weeks back we were ready to just ditch them all, weren't we? There's no character there, there's no spirit, there's no guile, but I think these last 3 games have shown actually there's something in there, which does bode well for whichever manager comes in next.
That's good.
I think Ferguson said last night, didn't he, the new fella or something, to refer to him as the new fella. But we're playing a team on Saturday, just to link into that one, very much a team who doesn't seem to have any characters in it.
No.
Or if they've got characters, it's all about ego, and they seem, they're a funny team, Arsenal, aren't they? There's a lot of quality in there, but just...
Yeah. Do you know what, when like the transfer window shut in the summer, and like everyone's looking at the squads, I thought they're a shoe-in to finish 4th this year. Because I thought they made some really good additions. I thought Tierney was a sound player. David Luiz, erratic albeit, is experienced defender. Ceballos in midfield, I thought would be a really good player for him, and Pepe, after what he did last year in France, I thought would be excellent as well. But it's amazing the way it's disintegrated there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is, and I think Emery obviously has got to take a large brunt to that, but it feels like they've got similar structural issues at the top of the club as like we are. They had that Raul Sanrehi, who's still there, I think, actually, and Sven Mislintat, tattoo was their chief scout or director of football. He's left, and they seem to have like ruptions and overlap all over the club, and it's not really a clear identity. The manager didn't really help, but they've still got good players, haven't they? You go into that game and they could effectively field a lineup on Saturday of Aubameyang, Pepe and Lacazette with Ozil behind them, and you're thinking that's
that could do a bit of damage.
That can do a bit of damage if it clicks on a day,
it's sort of, it's looking like they might have Arteta as their manager. Probably won't have enough of an impact. He has not working properly. He probably won't have had enough time to have any impact on the team if he does get the job before the game. But what do you think about him as a fit for that? Because it seems a bit odd to me. It seems that you need someone going in there to get a grip of those players and say, look, no pissing about now. This is what we're doing. Can he demand that kind of respect from basically a gang of gobshites?
Well, I think that's the other thing, I was reading an article on my way yesterday, I think it was from Miguel Delaney from The Independent, saying that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang wants to leave the club, as do a load of the other star players they've got as well. So, there's lads there who want out, but I think what maybe separates them and us in terms of looking at Arteta, if both clubs wanted him, and why he might be a better fit for them, is that realistically there's no danger of them going down, is there?
No.
They can bring him in and know that if the worst comes to worst, they are going to finish about mid-table, and it'll be fine. And he's got the summer, and he can start building, and he'll probably get a lot of money. So I think, with that in mind, that's okay. I think if we brought him in and he'd lost his first 2-3 games, then all of a sudden it would be like we've got a novice in charge. We're sinking like a ship. So with that in mind, I think it's a bit more risk-free for them. I imagine it's probably quite attractive for them as well. He's somebody I think was quite popular there, wasn't he? His leadership qualities later in his career were quite renowned. Obviously he's there from Pep Guardiola. He's going to look the business on the sidelines, isn't he, as well?
Just Lego hair.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you reckon he'll go suit or tracky?
I reckon he'll go tracky,
He's gone tracky, hasn't he, for
months? Yeah. But then again,
Pep wears mad stuff though, doesn't he?
Yeah. Cargo pants and
cardies and his big scarves. I think you might be like Duncan and go, I'm going to go full Nigeria.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
That'll have him swooning, won't it?
Yeah.
I'll have everybody swooning.
Well, you hope he's not. I mean, as we record this now, I think they're going to make an announcement on Thursday, which is when we're recording this. Whether he's in charge actually on Saturday or not, you know, you'd imagine on Monday stream he might just leave it to Youngberg for that particular day.
Yeah.
He'll be sat next to Carlo in the stands for the day. You imagine
I'm
that?
laughing. Yeah. I think they got Bournemouth next, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So I think if I was Arteta, I'd want to swear the Everton game complete decision.
That's a nice one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll take charge against Bournemouth.
That is about, in the Premier League, that is about as nice a home game as you can get. Isn't it? It's got to be Chelsea, but you know, that seems like an ideal one for him. Similar to us, obviously Burnley's probably a much tougher game, but similar to us with Ancelotti really. But interesting to see how it works out. But we still smashed them on Saturday, of course.
Oh God, yeah. But I mean, should Ancelotti be in the stands? As you said, that could have the weird situation there where I've got two future managers of both teams, both watching the game from the stands. You got some stats through before on Ancelotti and.
So Ancelotti's never finished outside the top 7 in any managerial job he's ever had. His win record in the Premier League compares very favourably. So Pep Guardiola's winning percentage is around. So I'll quickly go through it. So overall, his record is 76 games in the Premier League, 48 wins, 13 draws, and 15 defeats. And of course, his record at Chelsea in the 2009-2010 season, his team scored 103 goals, and the only team that's ever bettered that was Manchester City when they got their famous 100 points in 2017-18. So I suppose that shows that his teams can attack in that sense as well. But obviously at that point he had Drogba and Elka at his best. He had Malouda playing really well, Lampard in midfield. So it's a different remit for him, I think, isn't it, in that regard?
Yeah, it is definitely. And you just wonder if he's sort of, if he's gonna take the job, he must have been given some assurances that you know, we're gonna get more players in. So
not Zlatan. Don't want Zlatan. I'm dying on this hill.
Dying on that hill.
Dying on the nose.
Do you know, I've just sort of resigned myself to the fact that it's gonna be dead mad whatever happens. The whole situation is just mad. Yeah. So just see what happens.
Throw money at James Rodriguez and not Zlatan.
Definitely. Well, yeah. Yeah,
no,
definitely that.
Yeah,
it makes more sense. So, looking ahead at the Arsenal game, just before we go on to our score predictions and stuff, I asked a few of the Blue Room members what they thought. Here's what they had to say.
I just started reading one of Carlo Ancelotti's books about management, and I'm so inspired by it that I think we're all going to live forever. And so I'm feeling really good about the Arsenal game at the weekend. Dunk's last game. We're going to win 3-1, and then we're going to take off from there, guys. It's all rosy and golden from here, because it's Everton.
Yet another Everton game, yet another Everton home game. Goodison Park really truly is a second home at the moment, because it seems like every 3 or 4 days we're there for yet more emotional anguish. In what we hope, for all of the right reasons, will be Duncan Ferguson's last game in charge. I'll say that's not to disregard anything he's done for us over the last 3 weeks, but I think certainly the first half hour of the Leicester game, I sat there thinking this is why we need a really intelligent tactical manager in place. And I'll say that's not to belittle anything that Ferguson's done from an emotional point of view, and he's regenerated a connection between everyone at the club in recent weeks. I just think that someone like Ancelotti could come in, bring a whole new vigour about the place and a new excitement, but also be able to combine that with a bit of tactical nous, which I think we were lacking at times against Leicester. I think at times certain individuals displayed a pretty naive performance in terms of how uncomfortable they were on the ball, how unable they were to deal with pretty obvious threats from people like James Maddison and in particular Jamie Vardy. So I'll say that's not to downplay what Duncan Ferguson has done for this club in recent weeks, and I think if you were to go back 3 weeks and anticipate the job that he will be able to do leading up to Christmas, you would never have dreamt that we'd get the results that we have, but also be proud of our club again. It's been a long time, bizarrely, since we've been able to go and watch Everton at Goodison Park and look forward to it and enjoy it and be able to resonate with the players, and that is the angle of the game that he's brought back to us. I think with Arsenal coming, there's obviously major question marks about who sits on their bench at the weekend as well. Regardless of whether it was Ljungberg or Arteta, I would still be fairly confident of Everton getting something out of the game. There's clearly a frailty about Arsenal when they travel to pretty much any ground in the Premier League. And I think Everton have always been a side who are capable of capitalising on that vulnerability. I see no reason why it can't be the same again on Saturday, apart from the obvious level of fatigue that the players will be suffering from. Wednesday night, as much as you haven't got the prolonged physical exertion of extra time now, I think mentally penalties and in particular a penalty defeat really takes out of you. So we hope that they can regroup, and if there was one man in football who was capable of getting a squad of Everton players back up for another game a few days later after disappointment, then you would assume it was Duncan Ferguson. We all hope that Ancelotti will be in the stands if we can track the guy down. Rumours that he's conducted his deal with Napoli now and he's free to join Everton, and hopefully we'll be at the helm for the Burnley game on Boxing Day. But I think this is probably a good game for Ferguson to bow out on. We speak about the frailty and the vulnerability, and as a player he was someone who was always able to sense weakness in an opposition and capitalise on that, and I think he'll be capable of instilling that into our players as well. So I think we'll be relatively unchanged at the weekend, purely because we have no other options at the moment. But I can see Everton getting the better of Arsenal, so I'm going to go for an Everton 2-0 win.
First score predictions off everyone else there. If you just look back at previous fixtures against Arsenal, of course, last season was the 1-0 where we could have won about 4-0. I
think that was our best performance of last season at home.
Yeah.
I thought they played really well.
Yeah, they did play really well. I mean, we carved out enough chances to batter them. It just looked like it was going to be one of those games where we'd maybe go 1-0 up and then they'd pull it back, but they never did. We just did everything right that day.
Don was great that day, wasn't he?
He got one of the match, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a brilliant game. Played against their three centre-backs and just bullied all of them,
Yeah, so you think if he did that on his own last season, if him and Richarlison are up front for this one, just hope they haven't run themselves into the ground over these past 3 games. I mean, it's been relentless, hasn't it? When
Richarlison looked goose, didn't he? At the end of the game yesterday.
He did look on
But I thought Keane came on and played pretty well. Yeah. You know, not obviously still very raw, but lively. Put that great cross in, didn't he? Which Calvert-Lewin maybe could have done a bit better with. So I think, you know, one of the things that we're going to look at in this one is Iwobi. Obviously, it's going to be, you know, maybe he'll go under the radar a bit because all the manager talk, but it's his first game against Arsenal. He's not been playing well at all recently, has he?
No.
You just look at him, I think maybe could he put Richarlison on the right and maybe put Keane up front, or bring Sigurdsson back in to play behind Calvert-Lewin, or will he stick with that 4-4-2? I don't know. It feels like maybe some fresh legs would not be the worst thing in the world going into this game, because those lads, as you said, have been flogged for the last couple of matches.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Iwobi playing, not because he's been playing well, just because, as you say, it's his former club.
Narrative.
Well, it is, isn't it? You know, the amount of times you see a player will just score. I think Aaron Leonard did it, didn't he? Didn't score many goals for us, but like hit that rasper against Tottenham. So it does just happen. So there's always that chance. I wouldn't play him out wide ever again, though. I think he just gets too lost. Out wide. Season before that, we won 2-1. Ashley Williams.
Big Ash,
seems like an absolute lifetime ago. And then, of course, the season before that was the 5-2. Was that one at Umani Ash bundled one in?
Yeah,
with his arse?
5-1. So the last 2 games we've had aging centre-backs score winning goals for us against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Jackie Elka last season. Ashley Williams the season before. We haven't really got... Who have we got? Who can come in? We haven't got any veteran defenders, have we? You can maybe do the business for us.
No, man. Not anymore. We'll have to see.
Yeah. What's Richard Goff up to? Get him in. We need his dual goal, didn't he? Bloody hell.
That header last night. Oh, that was a nightmare. Yeah. It was. Yeah. I know, you stick a Columbia shirt on.
Broken.
Yeah. Columbia shirt on, he buries every header.
Yeah.
Go for the Blues. Can't do a thing right. But yeah, if you look back at the sort of previous games, last 2 seasons we've done well. No real reason why we can't do the same this season. What you got to go for?
I think this might be tough. Everything sort of seems to indicate that it could be Arsenal nicking this one because they've had a week off. They're going to have Arteta either on the sidelines or in the stands. When you look at us and the injuries we've got, hopefully they'll couple back for the weekend, but there's certainly going to be heavy legs in that side the way they've been playing. If it wasn't by virtue of the fact that this team at the moment are just grinding results out, to finding ways to get results, I'd say we probably get beat, but I reckon we might just scrape a draw.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be goals in it because they're awful at the back and we're a bit shaky all over the place at the moment, but maybe another 2-2. I think I said 2-2, didn't I?
You called it last night, actually. You said 2-2 and penalties.
Although I said, and then I said Schmeichel's crap as well, and he's made 2 penalties, so I'm not saying anything about any of I just said the defenders are rubbish. But I reckon that'd be 2-2. And to be honest, I'll be alright with that.
Yeah.
I'll be sound with
that.
that.
Be a decent result, yeah. I think I'm going to go 2-1.
Fancy us to win? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think we'll scrape through this one, and then big Carlo Ancelotti will claim credit for the victory.
Allardyce,
yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to go with 2-1. I'm going to say a Iwobi as well.
Yeah?
Just
nice one,
just for the form.
I think people are getting... Maybe he's not playing very well at all, but I think people are being maybe a bit harsh on him.
Yeah.
I think it's just at the moment he's the one who's playing out of position, he's certainly playing out on the right hand side, he's making poor decisions, he's getting a little bit rushed, and he's probably not used to that goodness and anxiousness that all other players are.
It must translate, mustn't it? It really must, when people are getting dead antsy. And
there's that one where he just like tried to cushion it out wide for just the Coleman last night, he's put straight out for a throw, and it was just like...
Have you ever seen anything worse than that pass Michael Keane tried though?
It was like, I'm just gonna feather this with the outside of my foot down the touchline, just blammed it out and played in the instead.
So subtle.
He got a chase and didn't need to be fair on Wednesday. He was really poor.
Yeah, he did.
Hopefully we can get, probably be saying this given how poor he's been this season, but Sigurdsson back in that midfield.
I know.
And then drop Holgate in, maybe alongside Yerry Mina for the game, because Keane against someone like Aubameyang or Vardy, those lads are a bit nasty and a bit pacey and really cute with the movements. I think he really struggles against, doesn't he? So
yeah, he's just way too nice as well.
Yeah,
it's like he had that one-on-one with Vardy, and you just thought, you know exactly what Vardy's going to do. He's going to shove and put the elbow, and he just shoved him off the ball.
Was that the one that we got the corner like really early on?
Yeah, and you just think, you know, as a player who's played the game for years, you've got to be knowing exactly what to expect from a player like that on your shoulder, and you sort of get yours in first. He just seems nice to a fault. Doesn't he? There's no real aggression there.
That just said that little exchange just set the tone for the whole.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was that shot where O'Brien hit the bar, he gave it away before that, didn't he? 'Cause he tries to run around the outside of Vardy, doesn't he? It's just like I'm just gonna knock it around, just go around the outside. And Vardy just like takes a couple of steps, like, nah, I'll have that lad, little back heel, and then he score from it. But no, didn't have the best game on Wednesday, did Michael, unfortunately.
No, so fingers crossed we get some players back, and I reckon Ferguson will probably set up the same 4-4-2 that's done us all right in the past couple of league games.
Deserves a big send-off, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It would be nice, wouldn't it? You know, I think he's exceeded everyone's expectations in this managerial role. You know, for some people saying all he did was put the cones out. I think he's not just got the team up for it. I think you were saying last night on post-match, his actual managerial decisions and in-game management. He's made some decent subs. He's changed formation at the right time. He's done well. He's done really well for himself.
Hopefully the top 5 teams in the league and not lost against any of them.
Yeah.
And you think about what we were like under Silver and now how weak and brittle they seem to be. The fact that that's changed so quickly is huge testament to him. He's done a brilliant job.
Yeah,
really good.
Really has. So hopefully we'll give him a good send off the weekend. If you want to put any of those bets on, go to fansbet.com while you're there. Check out the stuff they do for fan initiatives to get 50% of all their profits to fan initiatives up and down the country. We will be back with Blue Monday, hopefully having announced the new manager.
I think he'll be announced before Saturday.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. And hopefully on the back of a win, which would be nice. More positivity, which we're not used to.
Going into Crimbo,
yeah. And then it's the relentless Christmas schedule. So we'll see you next week.